The most popular YouTuber in the world, Jimmy Donaldson, aka MrBeast, has had a squeaky clean image for over a decade. Until now. Dirt has been uncovered and the drama vultures are circling. First, it was the Ava Chris Tyson scandal and a sketchy Discord server. MrBeast quickly cut ties with Tyson and seemed to escape the controversy. But now, a YouTuber and former MrBeast employee called Dogpack404 released a scathing 53-minute takedown of MrBeast, accusing him of conducting illegal sweepstakes, faking videos, and horrible mistreatment of his game show contestants. The video currently has over 11 million views. By now, there's thousands of videos covering the drama, so I'll be focusing on the alleged illegal activities and negligence of MrBeast involving the sweepstakes and dire conditions on the set of his Beast games. An unreleased video where MrBeast locked his former employee in solitary confinement for 100 days was the topic of the most recent exposed video. We'll determine what criminal and civil lawsuits could potentially be brought against MrBeast and the potential damages he's liable for. MrBeast and his team are already in full damage control. They're working round the clock deleting comments so this thing appears legit. Let's dive in. In case you've been living under a rock the past decade, Jimmy Donaldson, aka MrBeast, is the most famous YouTuber in the world with over 308 million subscribers. His content is fast-paced and predominantly caters to children and their short attention spans. Jimmy is widely known to be a very generous philanthropist and has never been accused of bad behavior as far as I know. He's built wells, houses, cured blindness, and more. You know what they say about things that seem too good to be true. 2024 has been a whirlwind year of influencers getting exposed for deviant behavior, which seemed to open the floodgates for more to follow. Just as the Ava Chris Tyson scandal was quieting down, YouTuber Dogpack404 posted his first ever video and lit the YouTube world on fire. He worked for MrBeast for just a month before being let go. He accused MrBeast of running illegal sweepstakes, rigging contests, faking videos, mistreatment of game show contestants, and more. We'll get to the alleged illegal sweepstakes in a minute, but let's begin with the most egregious accusations levied at MrBeast and his production team. Starting with former MrBeast employee Jake Weddle revealing what unbelievably sounds like war crimes. In an interview Dogpack404 recently published with Jake, he discloses the horrifying conditions he was subjected to during the filming of a video that never got released. The video's premise was to put him in solitary confinement for 100 days, where he was told that if he stayed for at least 30, they would have a solid video. He was promised $10,000 for each day he stayed in the man-made prison, money he desperately needed. Jake details the awful treatment he was subjected to and pressured into accepting.
And they tell me the pitch. They try to make the pitch sound like it's going to be like a walk in the park. The pitch is 100 days in solitary confinement. But don't worry, like you only have to last like 30. We have like a video. You're going to have like a hot tub and an ice cream machine. And like part of the video is going to be you deciding like what items am I going to get rid of, today? And it's like the choice. By the end of it, after 30 days, you're going to get $300,000 because it's $10,000 a day. I grew up poor in North Carolina. I said, excuse me? I'll dance for you if you put that kind of money in my face. Sure. It was a terrible facility. I mean, it was in one of the studios. They had to like get like a separate like tank for, septic stuff. Yeah, there was a hot tub in it. Yeah, there was an ice cream machine. Like things were cool and funny on paper. But when you think about stuff, a hot tub that's not connected to a filtration system, give it 3 days, it's gonna stink. The ice cream machine has 2 modes. On, and off, reeking of smelly dairy mildew. And it got to a point where like they weren't turning the lights off. I asked them, I said, can we like have like nighttime hours? And they said no, because it would fuck up the time lapse shots. I wasn't sleeping. I could not sleep, and I have insomnia problems now. But they might have started there. I just wanted to turn the lights off, and I'm vocalizing to people. I wish the lights would turn off. And I go up to my friend, my good friend, and I go. They're not turning the lights off. He goes, what? That's a war crime. We're not allowed to do that to terrorists. 24 hours breaking the Geneva Convention, I guess. You have power over people when one person doesn't have resources and the other one does, and they hold it over your head, and you go, of course, yeah, I agreed to it. I needed it, of course. And so now I'm locked in a cage at his whim, and I have to do things to get the cash I need to live.
If these allegations are true, it's difficult to see how MrBeast can recover from this. The kids likely won't care and will keep watching, but the parents could pull the plug, and the YouTube community at large certainly won't let this go. As for legal recourse, it's unlikely Jake would have any since he voluntarily participated and was free to leave of his own volition at any time. Still, the immense pressure he faced and the promise of financial recovery dangled like a carrot in front of him is sickening. However, the on-set conditions of the Beast Games production is another matter. According to multiple reports from contestants and media outlets, the MrBeast Games production conditions were dire. Their situation was physically dire, but you don't want to find yourself in a financially dire situation either. Thieves can steal your identity and then come after your money. That's why I partnered with today's sponsor, Aura. Before using Aura, I used to get worried about these spam calls and texts. I mean, how did these people get my information? What can they actually do with it? And who else has access to my info? Not to mention, the frequency of these calls used to be insane. Now I know that these scammers are just wasting their time because Aura is always keeping me safe. My account regularly receives alerts notifying me of all the ways scammers might be trying to find my passwords or personal information. One way they can do this is by buying your information off data broker websites. Data brokers are making a fortune selling your information to robocallers, spammers, and others who want to learn more about you, like where you live, which is a little terrifying. Aura can identify data brokers who are legally required to remove your info if you ask them to, but they make it super hard to do. Let Aura handle it for you. Having Aura will be even more important now with all the data breaches going on. Recently, Ticketmaster was hacked and the data of 560 million users were put up for sale on the dark web. The data stolen includes full names, addresses, email addresses, phone numbers, and credit card data. At best, this is going to lead to so much more spam, at worst, fraud. So what is Ticketmaster doing about it? Nothing. They said they didn't think the hack would have a material impact on our overall business. All these businesses happily collect our data, but do nothing to protect it. That's why I use Aura, the sponsor of today's video. If my info was compromised in the Ticketmaster data breach, I wouldn't worry because Aura is always on, always doing the hard work of keeping me safe. Aura wants you to protect your private information, which is why they're offering my audience a 14-day free trial. Go to aura.com/Spencer to get a 14-day free trial. How amazing is that? Among the alleged infractions were withholding medications resulting in seizures, sleep deprivation, food deprivation with only a 400-calorie meal given once every 12 hours, dehydration, 2 COVID-positive contestants, a contestant with pink eye, bodily harm and hospitalizations, no on-site medical personnel, lack of personal feminine hygiene products, and withholding undergarments requested for personal hygiene.
I saw 2 people have seizures. I saw 1 grand mal seizure.
Whoa.
I saw a lady on the first game, which was like a tug of war type game. I saw a lady get trampled by about 30 people accidentally because, things were happening so fast. I saw a lady, I didn't see this happen, but I saw the bruises on her neck. The rope kind of accidentally wrapped around her neck.
Ooh.
And it was attached to 10,000 pounds. And it was just dangerous.
Treated everyone like animals and mentally and physically abused. A hospital employee told us, I'm aware of 3 or 4 hospital evacs today. Overnight shift said it was insane, so not sure if or how many hospital evacs there were. The production is a show and unprepared for the scale, making decisions as they go along. The bare bones medic staff on site is not adequate and were overwhelmed last night. They compete at night. One contestant reports contestants were instructed to provide producers with 5 days worth of medications, and as of today, contestants have not received a single dose. They have denied food to diabetics, denied water to contestants, and at least 2 individuals have had seizures as a result. Medications such as inhalers, contact lenses, and feminine hygiene products were surrendered, which caused concern among the production's medical staff, with some encouraging contestants to hide their meds in their clothes to avoid detection. I've brought my attorney friend Robert in to give his legal opinion on the matter.
It sounds like most of the complaints about MrBeast contest have to do with the safety of the event and how it was organized, and allegations that MrBeast didn't do enough to try to make the event safe, and a number of people had bad experiences and they're upset about it.
What are the potential liabilities and legal actions that could be brought if said infractions are true?
The starting point for these types of claims is figuring out what type of claim you would even bring. And so these allegations have to do with things like being dehydrated, or not having access to food or enough food, or not getting access to necessary medication, or a couple of people had COVID or got pink eye or something like that. And so generally what you're looking at here would be a negligence claim. And the way negligence claims work is that you allege that somebody owed you a duty of care. Basically, people have a duty not to injure other people. And so what you would try to say is that MrBeast had this duty of care to make sure that this was not going to be an environment that would injure somebody. You'd have to show that he breached that duty. He basically didn't do what he needed to do to ensure the level of safety that he owed everyone, that his breach of that duty caused your injury, and that injury caused you damages.
Would an injury waiver cover some or all of the alleged infractions?
One of the hurdles to bringing that type of claim in this situation is that apparently MrBeast had everyone sign a waiver and release where the contestants acknowledge that they might die, they might get dehydrated, that there are risks to their health that come along with participating in this competition. And everyone, my understanding is that everyone signed that release and waiver. And so generally those types of releases and waivers are enforceable as to regular negligence claims. So if you sign that release and in exchange for this opportunity to participate in the event, you agree not to sue for something that might happen to you based on the categories that are laid out in the waiver, then that's enforceable, and you're agreeing that you're taking on the risk associated with whatever this activity is.
In which instance would these injury waivers not be enforceable?
Those sorts of waivers are not enforceable if the claim has to do with gross negligence. The courts will treat that as being void as against public policy. And the difference between regular negligence and gross negligence is just one of degree. If you can say that MrBeast was so negligent that it's basically like he completely disregarded everyone's safety, or he knew or reasonably should have known that people were definitely going to get hurt, then you can make out a gross negligence claim and sort of get around the waiver that you executed, because courts are not going to enforce waivers for gross negligence.
Do you believe that gross negligence applies here?
It's not really clear to me that happened here. I mean, in my opinion, you get 2,000 people together and somebody has pink eye. That can happen. Was there some step that needed to be taken to make sure that no one with COVID was there? That might not even be possible. It's maybe a closer call with things like not having access to necessary medication. But then you also need to consider, what was the harm here? One person apparently had a seizure and they got medical attention within 5 minutes, according to the reports that I'm reading. Other people maybe were dehydrated or hungry or something, but what's the harm? Like how much are they out? And when you're looking at potential damages in a negligence kind of claim, you're looking at things like medical bills, lost wages, and other expenses associated with the injury that occurred to you. And it doesn't sound like anyone was severely injured here, so I don't know that there's a really good negligence claim based on what's been reported.
Could the contestants file a lawsuit as a class?
It's difficult to do with negligence claims because one of the things that you need to establish in order to bring a claim as a class is what's called typicality. Is the person who's representing this class of people, was their experience typical of everybody who was involved in the same situation? And that's pretty clearly not the case here. You have one person who suffered a seizure, one person or a number of people who were dehydrated, one person or maybe a couple who couldn't access their medication. And so you have a different type of injury and a different amount of damages, if any, as to each person who participated in this. So I don't think this is something that would have a chance of going forward on a class basis as a class action.
Since these contestants were required to sign strict liability waivers in order to participate, it seems, according to Robert, that their legal recourse is lacking. It may turn out that Beast Games was more akin to an extreme Fire Festival disaster than grounds for a successful lawsuit. Now, if that's not enough to take down MrBeast, the alleged illegal sweepstakes and contest rigging might be. Most of MrBeast's giveaways are simple subscribe to win or videos with contestants winning prizes. Online sweepstakes are much like conventional prize giveaways where you offer a prize to users who complete specific actions. For example, typical like to win and subscribe to win giveaways fall under the sweepstakes definition. They don't require a purchase or any other form of consideration to enter. However, a few of them involve viewers being told to make purchases in order to enter the sweepstakes, which seems to be a clear violation of federal and state laws regarding sweepstakes. Also, sweepstakes winners are typically drawn randomly to ensure the prize draw is fair, so it's a game of luck that doesn't require any special talent. Contests are different from sweepstakes because they involve skill or talent, and winners are selected based on merit instead of random luck. Lotteries are a form of sweepstakes where you pay to enter. These are heavily regulated and may only be conducted by government agencies or nonprofit organizations. A nonprofit conducting a lottery is called a raffle. For-profit businesses conducting lotteries are prohibited and would be considered illegal. Here are just a few examples of MrBeast promoting giveaways with purchase.
Those of you who are just joining, if you buy one of our limited edition 40 mil special shirts, we're celebrating 40 million subscribers with a really big video, then we will sign that shirt, and some of them will get random prizes like this. In 10 minutes, right, because we gotta give them time to do their cart, we'll give 2 orders $500 each. 5 minutes, someone's getting $3 grand in their order. In 5 minutes, we're gonna do the same thing again. We're gonna put $1,000 in a random order. 2 minutes, newest order gets $2,000. Good luck, everybody. In 30 minutes, we are giving away my car to someone that buys merch. I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes to go place an order at shopmrbeast.com. Anyone watching any of the lives, and we're gonna throw iPhones in some of them.
These appear to be some serious infractions. Additionally, you must be 18 to legally participate in a lottery, so here MrBeast is presumably allowing children under 18 to participate in this lottery, which would also be illegal. 18 U.S. Code Section 1304, broadcasting lottery information. This statute imposes a penalty of up to 1 year if an individual is convicted of broadcasting or allowing to be broadcast advertisements for lotteries or games of chance on any radio station or TV station for which a license is required. The maximum penalty is a year imprisonment and a fine. Each day of broadcasting could constitute a separate offense. The law does not reference online platforms such as YouTube, only radio and television broadcasting, so this code may not apply here. Regardless, there still exists the possibility that MrBeast is in trouble for conducting illegal lotteries, but at the very least his brand is in serious trouble from a marketing perspective. Perhaps he'll be fine since his audience is mostly children, but we'll find out soon what the parents have to say about it. Underneath all the fanfare, it seems the guy who made Squid Games into a real-life contest is no different than the guy who ran Squid Games in the original show. Just a rich guy making millions from content exploiting poor people's need for money. He was a hero to many, but he didn't die a hero, and he lived long enough to become the villain. Thanks for watching.